And suddenly you guys are being quantized. You're being turned into quantums. And you want to know about quantum physics. And what I'm telling you, and what seems to be the case, and what others have told you at this conference and in the movie, is that it indicates that you are a sacred being. And that your mind has a role. It plays a role, and it's such a significant role that we have to understand it a little bit better, and quantum physics actually tells us a little bit about it. It tells us how our self, our mind, and time are all hooked up in a very interestingly magical, and I mean magical, in every sense of the word magical, way. A way that would seem totally unmechanical from what we first learned. So how are they connected? They're connected by something we call the matrix. What matrix? Your interest matrix. Because you have brought and you have developed and you have learned how to be interested in things, objects, people, times, whatever. That's called your interest matrix. What you maybe have not quite figured out yet is that your interest matrix ain't the same as your neighbor's, possibly. And that two different interest matrices can sometimes run afoul of each other. In other words, we're going to be talking about creating your reality and how once you've done that, and we do it all the time, how to change it so that it ain't the same as it was before. And it's really just a question of time, mind, and desire, and of course, something we call interest. My job is to teach you nothing. My job is to get your interest matrix juicy again, so that you find things interesting that before you didn't think you could never even understand. Which means relearning a little bit about who I am. Who I am. I am is not me speaking. I speak for myself. You speak for yourself when you say that magical word I. Who you really are. Or I call it learning to ride your sacred elephant. First you have to find it. Most of you don't even know you've got a sacred elephant in this room right now with you. It's here. It's a big, big elephant. And it's just waiting for you to discover it. And once you get on its back, it'll take you wherever you want to go. But until you discover it, it's just that booger in the room that you want to even see. It's that thing you don't want to even look at it. Because it's so much, at least now I can be greedy and I can be vociferous and I can be this and I can be that, and nobody's going to tell me anything. But if you find your sacred elephant, suddenly you see all the stuff you're doing from a different point of view, and when you develop that point of view, something in you changes and life actually becomes more fun. And that's what this is all about, really. So let's get started. If you want me, let me take you down, that's my email address. That's my webpage. Nothing is real. We're going on a mystical journey. Woo, woo, woo. With some quantum physics thrown in. Some of you want to take notes. Don't take notes. There's nothing to write down. It may get a little confusing at times, but that's okay. We're going to be going off in several directions at the same time. And you may think, I can only go one direction at one time. Your mind is capable of going in all directions at once. It's just a matter of seeing that. And once you do, it becomes fun. So let it take you where it's going to go. Back in time, at the very beginning, there was a big problem. We have Adam sitting there pondering his navel. He was the only one I knew that really pondered his navel. But what was the big problem? What was that problem? This guy. This big dude in the sky. Big G, the big G. Oh boy, this big G, I better, this guy could squash me like a bug. I better watch out what's going to happen to me if, you know that story. Well, the big G knew that Adam would be worried about this, so they had an interaction so that Adam would find out what's going on. But Adam thought, I don't quite believe that spark. What is that spark called? Oh, it's called life, Adam. Oh, well, I don't quite believe that you give it, blah, 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 blah. To which the big G responded,
I am the supreme being. I'm not entirely dim.
And after that, Adam responded,
back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Right? Isn't that where we're at? Right? That's our problem, right? Two different viewpoints constantly clashing with each other, and really, they're both insane. And we're going to find out what can replace all of that. I hope we are going to find out. So we need to, yes, we do. We need to find a new view. We need to take a new view. We need to get a new view of ourselves and nature. However, when you try to take a new view, sometimes it appears to you paradoxical when compared with the old view. Look at this building, for example. If you look at this guy who's down here looking through these two pillars right here, he's looking, let's say, in the western direction. This woman on the second floor is looking through the same pillars, same two pillars, but she's looking northward. So you see, there's different views here, but when you look at them together, it creates what is called a paradox. And let me tell you something. When we try to figure out rationally, logically, how the universe is constructed, what we ultimately end up with is paradox. Therefore, the only thing truthful I can tell you is that everything is based on paradox. That paradox is the fundamental of the universe. And you may ask, why is it that way? We're going to see if we can find out. So we need to get this new view of ourselves and of nature, and we need to answer a very big question. And that question is, can we ever relearn to create our own realities? Can we create reality in a better way? Can we make this a better world for ourselves and for others? Can we truly live that way? Is it possible? And the question seems to be answered by, I would like to, but I don't know how. Are you going to show us some pointers? Are you going to give me A, B, C, D, E, F? Am I going to figure this all out? How? Well, all you need to do is think, feel, intuit, and sense differently. Well, that's simple enough, but what the heck are those things anyway? Well, let's find out. And in order to find out, we need to take a kind of a journey, okay? But first, a little hint here, in case you are wondering, are there any helpful suggestions? Please read these books. Dreaming Universe, Spiritual Universe, they should help. And also, these two. Matter into Feeling and Mind into Matter, these will also help you on these journeys, little guidebooks. And these two will help. The Yoga of Time Travel and my latest audio, the audio CD, A User's Guide to Your Universe. And also these two things which have just come out, the Meet the Real Creator You, and a little book of big ideas, and that's all enough. That's enough commercials. Okay. Sorry, that's all I'm going to do. All right, let's now go on with our story. This is St. Thomas Aquinas. And Aquinas is thinking. He realized that we need to get a new view of ourselves and of nature and to relearn, and he questioned God. He questioned the whole idea of what was going on. So let's follow Aquinas and go. By the way, he went back to the Greeks. So we're going to follow Aquinas on his trail into understanding, and by looking at what some older alchemy talked about, called the eau d'alchemy.